Hey guys, it's Griffin, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a simple but sick header like this. So this is pretty easy to do. As you can see, there aren't a lot of layers in this. There's only like 8, I think. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to go to File, New. I'm going to put 1500 by 500 because that's the dimensions for a Twitter header. I'm just going to unlock this background. I'm going to go to our paint bucket tool, make sure your color's on black, and then fill it in so it turns black. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to get a texture off Google Images, look up texture, and go to images, then make sure you go to search tools, size, large, so it only shows high definition images. But I'm not going to get one from Google, I'm just going to use the one that I used in this one. So I'm going to drag mine on. And alright, that looks good. So as you can see, the opacity is at 50%, so it's not quite as bright. Yeah. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to put a color correction on this, which is pretty much necessary if you want to make your design look really nice. So I'm going to have a free color correction for you guys to download in the description. So be sure to go download that if you want to use it. But if you already have a color correction that you want to use, then you can just use that. So I'm going to drag that on. And this color correction also has some lighting built into it, so I'm going to drag this to the top. Alright, so now we have a color correction on it, and it's starting to look similar to this one. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add some brush strokes to this. So I'm going to put my color to black, click B on my keyboard to use my brush tool, and yeah, I'm going to use this brush right here. So this is one of my favorite brushes. It looks really nice. If this video hits 200 likes, I'll have a download for this brush and a few other brushes in the description. So be sure to get this video to 200 likes if you want it. So I'm just going to add some brushes randomly around our header. So I'm going to put one down here, and then a lot of people don't know this. You can change the direction of your brush if you go up here and change this. So I'm going to drag it around 180 degrees. Oh, and if you hold shift, it'll be a lot easier to put it where you want it. So now I'm going to add one up on the other side, like that. And I'm going to put the blending mode to overlay. Doesn't really make a difference, but it's a nice blending mode anyway for most things. And I'm going to drag the opacity to like 60. That looks nice. Okay, so even though the color correction that we're using already has some lighting built into it, I'm going to add some extra lighting. So I'm going to make a new layer, click B to go to brushes, and then I'm going to go back up to the top and use the first one because it's just like a basic circular brush. I'm going to put my color to white, and then this brush is way too big, so I'm going to hold Alt on my keyboard, right click, and then drag to the left to make it smaller. Or you can drag to the right to make it even bigger if you mess up. And I think this will be good for some lighting. So I'm just going to put some up at the top like that. Maybe make it a little bigger. And then I'm going to make sure it's completely centered, so I'm going to go Control A to make a selection around our whole header. And then make sure you're on your move tool. I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna horizontally center it so it goes right to the middle. And then Control D to deselect. And then it's pretty harsh, so I'm gonna put the opacity to like 60. That's nice. So the brush strokes and the lighting just add some more detail to our header. And now I'm gonna just use a random team logo to put on our header. If you want, you can like do text instead and put your name or something on it, but I'm gonna use a team logo. Let's see, what team should I do? I'm just gonna do 2K because why not? Open this logo. Alright. And then I'm gonna center it, so I'm gonna go Control A, horizontally center and also vertically center. And Control D. I'm just gonna make this a bit smaller like that. I'm gonna rotate it a little bit. Alright, so now we have our logo. Oh, oops. Make sure your logo is under your color correction and also your lighting and brush strokes, so it gets affected just by everything you've done. And now we're gonna add a layer style for this logo. If you don't know what that is, I'll just show you on this one. As you can see, our logo has a bunch of variation of like lightness and darkness in it, so I'm gonna show you how to do that with this logo. So I'm gonna clear the layer style because I want to do it from scratch. Okay, so I'm gonna add a color overlay and just make it white, 100%, make it completely white. And now to get that shiny effect that you saw in that other header, we're gonna add satin. Put your color to black and put your blend, keep your blend mode on overlay and turn down the opacity a little bit on our color overlay so you can see the satin now. And now I'm gonna put down the size to 0 just so you can see how the distance looks. I'm gonna turn up the distance quite a bit, like that. That's good. Oh yeah, 100. So size, now we're gonna turn that up a little bit. So I want to turn it up enough so that it doesn't look so choppy, but not too much so you can't even see the satin. So I'm gonna put the size to like 25. That's good. I'm gonna put the opacity to 100. Now if you want your, so it's kind of hard to explain, but if you want your satin to show more, since it's on overlay, you can just turn down the opacity of your color overlay. And it also depends on what color your logo originally was, so just experiment with it. This looks pretty nice. So now I'm going to add back the inner glow that it had on before to make it glow innerly, if that makes sense. I know it doesn't, but you guys get the point. You can either do overlay or vivid light for your inner glow. If you do vivid light, I like to put the range to 100 so it's not so harsh, and then yeah, size, like, let's put the size to 5 or no, 10. That's good. And now let's see, what else should we do. I'm gonna add a little glow effect and I'll show you guys how to make it look really nice by doing this. Turn up the size quite a bit, like that, like 20, and turn up the opacity a little bit, like 50. So by default your range is going to be on 50 to make it look like that, but that looks horrible, so I'm going to put the range to 100. And then I'm going to turn up the size a little bit, just experiment, see if it looks nice. Yeah, 40. Alright, so now last thing, we're going to add some drop shadow. Turn up the distance, and turn up the size a little bit, and also the spread too. And then the opacity up a little bit. Alright, like 15. Alright, that looks nice. So I'm pretty much done with our layer style now. Now it looks all shiny. Let's see what else we did with this. I think the last thing we have to do now is add some magic bullet looks effects. So, oh, actually I'm just gonna show you guys one more thing you can do. Make a new layer above your logo. Put your color to black, and then if you want you can like add some brushes right above your logo or text that you're using. I'm gonna pick a random brush. You can just put some over your logo and then turn the opacity down a little bit just to add more detail to your header. I don't know, that doesn't look very good, so I'm not gonna do that. Probably look better if you made a clipping mask. That actually looks nice, so I'm gonna keep that. And now I'm gonna add some magic bullet looks. So I'm gonna select all our layers by going to the bottom one, holding shift and pressing our top layer, and Control J, to duplicate all of them, then Control E to merge them. So now we have just our header in one layer. And I like to be organized, so I'm going to select all these layers again and then Control G to group them, and then just title it anything you want. So now what we're going to do with this top layer is we're going to press Control A on our keyboard, then press M on your keyboard without pressing Control to go to your rectangular marquee tool. Then you're going to right click inside your header and then layer via cut. So, and then delete the other layer that you cut out. So now what this does is we have our header without any other like for example our brush, this brush up here, it would be like outside of our boundaries. So now we don't have anything outside our boundaries, so the magic bullet looks doesn't get messed up. I'm explaining things really badly right now. I'm pretty tired. I just finished finals and I haven't been getting a ton of sleep, so sorry about that. But yeah, now that we're in magical looks, I'm gonna clear all of these to do it from scratch. So most people's favorite effect for magical looks is pop. I'm gonna put the pop to 40% and 100%. Looks good. And then where's chromatic? There it is. So this adds some RGB to it, and I'm going to turn this up and then turn this one up. Alright, that's good. It just adds a little bit of color to it. And then a really nice effect that you can add is diffusion. I like to put the size to like 30 to 50. I'm going to do 40. Size like 5. That looks nice. Actually, I'm going to do 50%. Oops. Alright, that looks better. And now I'm going to add a little bit more shading to the edges, so I'm going to add Vignette. I'm going to zoom out, and then the settings actually look fine, but I'm going to put the strength to like 40%. Maybe turn the spread down a little bit so it doesn't affect our entire header, just the edges. Like that. And then one thing I always do is I zoom out again and then drag this down, so it's not like just affecting the left and right too much. And now the last thing is, where is Colorista? It's an effect called Colorista. Oh, here it is. And then what you can do is add a little bit of color to your header. So I'm going to make it kind of bluish by dragging this over to the blue a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, that looks nice. It adds a little bit of like a cooling effect to it. And actually that's not the last effect I'm going to add. I'm going to add some spot exposure to add a little bit more lighting to the top. So as you can see, I just drag this to the top so I can add some more lighting to the top. Then put the steps to like 0.3. Maybe turn the radius down a little bit. And yeah, that looks good. So I'm gonna go finished. Alright, so we are pretty much done with this header. As I said before, if you want to use the brush that I used in this header, if this video hits 200 likes, I'll put it in the description. And by the way, if you forgot, go download the color correction in the description, because it's really nice and I've been using it on pretty much all my headers lately. So be sure to get that. And if you enjoyed, leave a like and comment, and also subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And I'm out. Peace.